Hooty-hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. It's Monday, August 16th. Stock market's back open, but we are actually having a down day. Shocking. Dow down about 150 points. NASDAQ down about 150 points. Now, I know that's not a big move, but maybe it's the start of something bigger. Maybe it is. The VIX, I look at the VIX every day. VIX is starting to spike up. This is telling us there's fear in the marketplace. Could this be something? Could this be the start of something bigger? Or can we bounce right back to new record highs by tomorrow? Maybe even today we'll be at a new record high. But I think something bigger is coming. I think they're going to get that pullback of 10% or more. And be careful if you're long right here. It's getting scary. I'm telling you, the market's going to have a pullback. It's just overdue. Nothing goes straight up. But this market, it's been going straight up. Maybe it proves me wrong. Maybe things can go straight up. I don't think so. I think we're going to get a pullback. Be careful if you're long this market. All right, what I want to talk today about is the housing market, because the housing market is shifting it's starting to shift. Now, it doesn't go quick like the stock market. Stock market can go down 50% one day. Can do it. It could drop. You wake up tomorrow, it's down 50%. That can happen in the stock market. Housing market doesn't go like that. But we do have signs that the housing market has peaked out in July. Now, full disclosure, I am a real estate broker. I am on the front lines. I do get to hear what people are saying, what people are doing. I had an appointment the other day. It was a $5 million house, $4.5 million. The guy bought it for $1.5 million. He was going to make $3 million profit. But he wanted to wait. He wanted to wait for another year because he thinks the housing market's still going to go up. With all this printing of money, he thinks it's going to go higher. Now, he could have cashed out $3 million profit. Now, I think he's getting a little greedy. We'll see. Maybe he's the genius. Maybe I'm the idiot. Realtors, we always get blamed when things go down. I think he's going to go down. I think he's making a mistake. We'll see what happens there. But let's talk about the eviction moratorium. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. The Supreme Court rules that it's unconstitutional for the CDC to come in and have an eviction moratorium. Now, of course, the Biden administration has no respect for the Constitution or the Supreme Court, and they reinstated the eviction moratorium for another 2 months. Now, what does Biden really think there? Does he think that people are going to have money to pay their rent 2 months from now? Look, they're broke now. They're going to be broke 2 months from now. I think he's going to kick the can down the road another year, probably out till next March. Can't evict them right before Christmas, can we? Can't evict them in the wintertime. It's cold in the wintertime. I think the eviction moratorium is just going to get extended out. But the people are broke now. They can't pay their rent. 1 out of 5 tenants are not paying their rent. Now, who gets hurt with this eviction moratorium? Let's talk about that a little bit. Well, it's the landlords. Now, it's not the big landlords. They get hurt a little bit. They got, many units, hundreds of units, thousands of units. And yes, they get hurt a little bit. But who really gets hurt? Well, it's the mom and pop landlord. And the mom and pop landlord is responsible for about 50% of the rentals in the United States. Now, there has been shootings between tenants and landlords because there's so much friction right now. The tenant's sitting there smiling going, you can't kick me out and I don't have to pay you. I mean, this is unconstitutional. Look, it's the seizure of property. It's your constitutional rights that they're taking away here. Now, I know about eminent domain, that the government can come in and take your property for government use, but they actually pay you. They pay you a fair market value. Who's paying the landlords their rent? Nobody's paying the landlords their rent. The landlords are hurting. The mom and pop landlords are going to get wiped out. Now, here's the thing. A lot of these, I talk to them. I know them personally. A lot of them want to sell, but they have a tenant in their house that's not paying rent. Do you know how easy it is to sell a house when the tenant's sitting in your house and it's not paying rent and they won't let people come in to see the house? Very difficult to sell that house at the market value, right? They could sell it for, below market value, but what's going to happen? basically the landlords can't sell their property because they can't get that tenant out, and that tenant's not paying the rent. So they have to sit and hold the property. Well, what happens when the eviction moratorium ends? Well, the eviction moratorium ends, the landlord kicks the tenant out, and now the landlord can sell the property. But what happens to the value of the property? Let's say he's got $1 million house right now. Right now he can sell it for $1 million if he could get the tenant out. But okay, so let's say when the eviction moratorium ends, let's say that house is only worth $700,000, and now he can sell it for $700,000. But he lost $300,000. Who's responsible for that? Well, I say it's the government. Government's responsible for that because they won't let him kick the tenant out now and sell it when the house is at $1 million. So that he has to wait till the government gives him the okay to kick the tenant out, but the house may only be worth $700,000 then. He lost $300,000 of real money, and I think the government's to blame. I think he has a lawsuit against the federal government, and I hope there's a class action that the landlords get together and they sue the CDC, they sue the government. That's my opinion. I'm pro landlord now. Notice that all the laws are pro-tenant, like eviction moratorium, that's pro-tenant, has nothing to do about protecting the landlord. Now, why are all the laws that come from the government pro-tenant? Well, let's think about that. Okay, who votes? Well, people. And are there more tenants or more landlords? I think there's a lot more tenants, and that's why the government laws all favor the tenant. Okay, the landlord's got to get some respect here. The landlord's an entrepreneur. He's putting his money on the line. He's out there, putting his heart just so that people can rent a place for him to have a place to live. Well, he gets no respect. Okay, let's move on from that. Let's talk about the market. Market hit a record high in July, but we've seen our first downturn. The market has actually, prices have come down. Why? The affordability factor. Nobody can afford to buy them, so they have to start to drop the prices. Now, the number of listings that have price drops has gone up. So they list the house at this price, it didn't sell, and now it's a price drop. So the number of listings listed have price drops. Now, inventory's starting to jump back up. Why is it jumping back up? Well, there was the fear of missing out on all these gains, but now there's the fear of getting out. Oh crap, maybe I can't get out in time. Yeah, that's true. Maybe you can't. It might be too late already because they're starting to come down. Now, it's a slow process. It's going to take a year to play out, maybe 2 years. But I think there's some fiscal cliffs coming that are going to accelerate this. If they ever end the eviction moratorium, you're going to prices come down really quick. If they ever end forbearance, you're going to see house prices come down real quick. If the government ever stops buying $40 billion, well, it's not the government, it's the Federal Reserve, but they buy it with taxpayer money. They go out and buy $40 billion a month of mortgages with taxpayer money to prop up the housing market. By keeping mortgage rates low, it props up the housing market. Look, there is no price discovery in houses right now. Free market out there. This is all rigged right now. Okay, but let me talk about a demographic shift that's coming. This is interesting. Okay, so now clearly I'm a boomer. I'm a baby boomer, right? I'm at the lower end. A lot of baby boomers they're getting up there in the years, right? Well, baby boomers own 25% of homes. 1 out of every 4 homes is owned by a baby boomer. Now, in the next 10 to 20 years, baby boomers are going to be starting to sell these homes. And it's about 21 million homes that they're going to come onto the market just from the baby boomers. Now, this isn't going to happen tomorrow, but the demographics are telling you that we have plenty of houses. We don't need to build more houses. The baby boomers, well, actually, some of them will start to die off. Some of them will move into old people's homes. Some of them will just downsize into a little condo or a little apartment. But it's a shift in the marketplace that people aren't talking about, right? There's a shift going from, the baby boomers. There's a lot of us. Believe me, there's a lot of us. But we own a quarter of all the homes, and we're going to be getting out of them. We're going to be selling our homes in the next 10 to 20 years. So that's a demographic. If you're buying a house now for it to go up, it may be coming down a lot. It may be coming down a lot when they end the eviction moratorium. It may be coming down a lot when they end the mortgage forbearance. It may be coming down a lot when they stop buying all these mortgage-backed securities to prop up this market. Let's get the market and see what the fair market is. Let the price discovery determine where the housing market should be. Believe me, I think the housing market should be 50% lower. I think it's overvalued by about 50%. And I think we will see that correction coming. Now, could I be wrong? Sure. Could that my client be right who's waiting a year to sell his house? Sure, he could be right. He could be right. They could double from here. Just print that money. Keep printing the money. They can double from here. But we did peak in July, and we have started to see the prices actually declining for the first time. Okay, that's really what I wanted to talk today about, and it's interesting to me. The stock market, well, maybe we're going to get some new record highs this week. Last week, I think we hit a record high every day. Now, today, we haven't had a record high, and I'm not sure we're going to get it. Maybe by the end of the day, we'll be at that record high, but I don't think so. I think it's getting close to the start of the pullback. You see, earnings season's over now. This is the last week of earnings season. I mean, it's all the big boys have reported. What's going to drive the market higher? It's starting coming into a week time at a record high. Might be time for that pullback. I don't know. That's my guess. That's my hunch that we're going to get that correction. We're going to get that pullback. Now, if you like talking about this stuff, give me a thumbs up. Market Gambler, if you go to stockmarketgambler.com, you can I'm a chartologist. I study charts. I study movements in the market. I just love it. I have a passion for it. If you have a passion for it, give me a thumbs up. If you really want to hear about this stuff, punch that subscribe button so we can talk later in the week. Me and you, we'll have a little conversation and see what's going on with all these markets. Very exciting times. I'm Tall Mike. Get out there. Have a great Monday. We'll talk to you all again really soon. Bye-bye now.